Ahoy cruise enthusiasts and happy Sunday. It is time for our recap of the big cruise news stories of the week. And number one, Queen Elizabeth will be homeporting in Miami for the first time ever. Well, first time for the ship and first time for Cunard. The schedule has her here for at least two winter seasons, and she will be alternating between Miami and Alaska, just like Norwegian has been doing for a number of years. So hey, maybe we'll take one of those Panama Canal cruises on Queen Elizabeth. I had a blast on Queen Elizabeth last July in Alaska, and I highly recommend, if you are in South Florida, definitely take a ride on Queen Elizabeth. She is well worth it. However, I will also say that this is very interesting that Miami is now a home port for Cunard. Interesting. Could they be abandoning New York? Really? For various reasons? Yeah, MSC kind of just pulled out of New York. Interesting. So, does this portend of things to come with certain events that are about to happen? I don't know. I just do think it's very interesting. But I'm happy to see Queen Elizabeth here in Miami. I have not gone to see her yet. I'll check the schedule and I'll just do a quick drive-by, but yeah, definitely worth the option. But that actually dovetails into another interesting story that popped up this week, and it's a new acronym out there. I don't know if Norwegian came up with this or it was assigned to them or something, but it's JOMO, J-O-M-O, the joy of missing out. And apparently this is the phenomenon. Again, I don't know if this is real or it's a marketing thing. If anybody actually knows, let everyone know in the comments down below after you subscribe, of course. But okay, so JOMO is the thing, and apparently Norwegian is either the cruise line for this or they're the ones that are promoting it. Yeah, the joy of missing out as opposed to FOMO, fear of missing out. It's, I guess, the vibe for people wanting more relaxed, less stressful experiences, which I can definitely get behind. However, I will say that, Norwegian might not be the best option for that, and not Royal Caribbean, certainly not Carnival, or a lot of other of the mainline cruise lines. Cunard is actually the best cruise line for JOMO. It really is it is a different enough experience to where I actually want to go back. I'm very much looking forward to my next Cunard sailing, and I will continue to look forward to them in the future. I've joked, but I guess I'm not joking, that I'm becoming a Cunarder, and that's because there are things to do on the ship. It is a decently full schedule, but it's not very pressure or panic inducing. They have all the traditional stuff, but I never felt compelled on either Queen Elizabeth or Queen Anne to run around and do stuff, right? There was plenty of downtime to relax. Now, admittedly, on Queen Anne, relaxing by the pool was a little bit difficult because it was like practically freezing and snowing at times, but there was always the pavilion pool, which is enclosed on Queen Anne, which is good, unlike Queen Elizabeth. But yes, even in Alaska, it was very just relaxing to be on Queen Elizabeth because I never felt like I was missing anything. Even when I went ashore, I wasn't like, oh my God, what's going on the ship? What am I missing? You will definitely feel that with Royal Caribbean. You will feel that with Norwegian and MSC and Carnival and all the mainline cruise lines. So if you do want a JOMO, a joy of missing out trip, yeah, Cunard is probably your best choice. And the food and the service is great. I just, wow. I know, we're getting old as much as we try to stop it. But there you go. So JOMO is apparently a new thing. All right. For whatever reason, this popped up again. The story about, what happens if you're late from an excursion and the cruise line leaves you or the cruise ship leaves you. And of course, the advice that everybody always gives is book the cruise line excursion because the ship will wait. But what is very rarely talked about, and it's only mentioned in like one teeny little phrase, even in this article, is what happens if you are on a cruise line shore excursion and you still miss the ship, because that can happen. They always say, stick with the cruise line because they will wait. Well, yes, they will wait 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. They might even wait 2-3 hours, depending on what operations calculates is the best option. But if there is something like majorly going wrong with your excursion and the ship just cannot wait, they will leave without you. They will still leave without you, even if you're on a cruise line shore excursion. But what that means is they're now on the hook for getting you to the next port of call. And I also presume this would mean that, depending on the circumstances, they would also be on the hook for the Passenger Vessel Services Act fine if the next home port is, for instance, in Alaska, or if the next port is in Alaska, or the home port, meaning you skip Victoria, because one of the silly consequences of the Passenger Vessel Services Act, or the Jones Act, doesn't really matter. Both of them should be repealed. Is that, foreign operators are not allowed to transport passengers between U.S. ports. So if you skip it, then technically they did transport you between ports, and there is a fine involved. So I would imagine if they are the cause, or the cruise line shore excursion is why you miss, or why you violate that rule, that they will also pick up the fine. So who knows? Oh, yes, the ship will not always wait, but at least if you're on a cruise line excursion, they are now responsible for getting you to the ship wherever it is going. That's on their dime. So just keep that in mind. All right, so Royal Caribbean has been banned. Yes, they have been banned in France. I know, can you believe that? Okay, no. Nice has banned cruise ships over 3,000 passengers and severely limited cruise ships under 3,000, like down to 25,000 or something like that. However, I talked about this a long time ago, and yes, I understand. I absolutely understand these small towns wanting to do this. Having a large cruise ship come into town for just a few hours is, I know, they're getting slammed, and it's not really what they're set up for. They're used to a nice, steady flow of tourists in and out all day that kind of occupy the town for a full day. Maybe they're spending the night and everything like that. So they are spread out among all the amenities, all, throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything like that. But when a cruise ship arrives, it dumps 3,000 people all at once for maybe 4 hours at most. If you get up a little bit late and want to get back to the cruise ship early because you don't want to be left behind, that is a problem. And I totally understand it. My solution was the cruise lines need to maybe go shorter distances and stay in places longer. Like, it's a much bigger deal logistically, or it's a much different experience for the town if a 3,000 passenger cruise ship, arrives at, say, 5 a.m. and allows guests to go ashore starting at 6 o'clock for breakfast, and then stays late at night until maybe 2 a.m., right? Now they can spread out those 3,000 tourists over the course of the whole day, instead of just that 4 hours, between lunch and mid-afternoon when, I don't know, in Spain, that's siesta time, so maybe they really don't want that. So, yeah, that was my solution. So, the fact that they're doing this, I actually understand it. I totally get it. And, I'm not really going to complain about it because, the cruise lines can change this. They really can change this. It's kind of frustrating that they haven't really even tried. Oh, well. All right. Carnival this is, okay, they're not really in the news, but I saw this and I thought this was kind of funny. Carnival reiterated that they will not seat people who are late to their assigned dining time. Now, y'all know how I feel about assigned dining times. They're just kind of silly, but whatever. They still hang around. And this particular case, apparently, the guest was 35 minutes late and complained, and then John Heald says, nope, I'm sorry. However, I think he or Carnival said that, guests who arrive, late to their assigned dining time, I think the window is maybe 10 or 15 minutes, maybe depending on the ship. But they will be redirected to the, I was about to say Windjammer. They will be redirected to the Lido buffet. Okay, that's not a problem. That is not a problem at all, because guess what? It's the same food. The same food they have in the dining room is what they're serving in the Lido buffet. So if you are late for your assigned dining time, don't worry about it. You are not missing a thing. Go up to Lido and you will literally get the exact same food. This is coming up in a vlog from Carnival Liberty. I went to the dining room menu, and then I went to the Lido buffet, and it is exactly the same food. So, you know what? I would say just skip the dining room, really, unless you really want to just sit and be served. You're not missing a thing. Just go to the Lido, and I guess, don't worry about it. Exactly. That's my advice on Carnival. Don't worry about missing your dining time. Just go to the Lido, and you will be fine. All right. It's weird. Last week, I talked about how Legend of the Seas is losing her conference room, and how I attended a conference on a cruise ship once, and it was a fantastic experience. And that was actually aboard Majesty of the Seas. Majesty of the Seas. Well, Majesty is sadly, I'm not really in the news, but for whatever reason, this popped up again. I thought all 3 of the Sovereign class had been scrapped by now, but apparently Majesty is still owned by a Greek company and is moored somewhere in Greece. But unfortunately, she was transferred over, I think, just before the whole scam, and nothing has been done with her since. So she's been basically sitting, rusting away for the last 5 years. Very, very sad. But I thought it was weird. I talk about this, I talk about my conference, and all of a sudden she's back in the news. Not really back in the news, but I was not aware. I thought she had been scrapped. So I guess good, but not really good. But it's also funny that this popped up again. The Marine Hotel Association is hosting their symposium on, what is it, Oasis of the Seas, I think. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, another conference on a cruise ship. Now, granted, it's the Marine Hotel Association, so it kind of makes sense they would do it on a cruise ship. But yes, that is a thing. Again, if you have the opportunity to attend a conference or a symposium or anything like that on a cruise ship, go, absolutely. Even if you have to like rearrange things or whatever, absolutely do it. It will not be, okay, I'll put it this way. It should not be a vacation, right? It is kind of a vacation. I think one of the reasons they do this is so, people will bring families, to entice the families who want to go. This is why there's a huge convention business at Walt Disney World, or even in Orlando in general. But yes, so don't expect a vacation. Consider it a working vacation. But yeah, it is a terrific experience. And if you have the opportunity, absolutely do it. Unfortunately, it will not be on Legend of the Seas. And well, at this rate, it definitely won't be on Majesty of the Seas either. So, oh boy. Well, there you go. So these are the cruise stories that I found interesting this last week, and I look forward to talking with you again on Sunday. And until then, if we happen to be enjoying the JOMO life aboard a Cunard ocean liner or a Cunard cruise ship, I would love to see you on board.